sitting here getting my fat bitch on. And it's almost Pride Month. I want to focus in on this Pride Month on history. Gay history a lot of times gets completely, pushed to the side. And a lot of people think that it's ancient history, that we've had the rights that we have now forever. Marriage equality is pretty recent, and a lot of things like hate crime statutes are also fairly recent. But what I want to talk about is something that happened during the AIDS epidemic, specifically in New York, at a place called Hart Island. Hart Island was where they had their Potter's Field, which means that's the graveyard for people who went unclaimed. Each one of these markers isn't a grave. It's a mass grave. They estimate each marker has 150 bodies in it at least. And they just go on and on and on. They estimate there were 1 million people who went unclaimed during the AIDS epidemic that were consequently buried at Hart Island. I think this is a hard concept for people nowadays to grasp. That families couldn't accept, first of all, that they had a gay loved one or a gay loved one who was dying of AIDS. I have friends who did die of AIDS who never told their family they had AIDS. They told them they had a brain tumor because the symptoms were sort of similar. To this day, they don't know they died of AIDS. There were doctors that wouldn't take you. There were hospitals that wouldn't service you. I had friends that had to take food to the hospital to feed their dying loved ones and change them and give them fresh linens because no one would touch them. There were hospices that wouldn't take you. Gay hospices opened up in Minneapolis just to service people dying of HIV. Then there were funeral homes that wouldn't take you. Churches that wouldn't do your funeral. And cemeteries that wouldn't accept your body. This was just an accepted modus operandi of the day. We didn't have any protections under hate crime statutes because they didn't exist. You could just be openly discriminated against, and that was fine. The government was telling the gay community that AIDS was a punishment sent by God, and we all deserve to die. These people who are buried in these mass graves were human beings with friends and family who loved people, who were wonderful, beautiful people. And they didn't deserve to be buried in a mass grave of anonymity. And this happened within my lifetime. Let's remember the people at Hart Island.